The night had fallen thick and heavy over our remote farmhouse, the moon casting an eerie glow on the surrounding woods. Our family, my wife Sarah, our two children Emma and Jack, and myself, had lived here for years, enjoying the tranquility and peace that came with isolation, but lately peace had become a distant memory. It began subtly, with strange noises in the night, scratches on the walls, faint whispers in the wind, and the feeling of being watched. At first we dismissed it as the quirks of an old house, but the occurrences grew more intense, and soon, it was impossible to ignore. One particularly cold night, the noises started again, but this time they were accompanied by the sound of footsteps crunching on the gravel outside. I bolted upright in bed, heart pounding. Sarah was already awake, her eyes wide with fear. We crept to the children's room, where Emma and Jack huddled together, their faces pale in the moonlight. "Stay here," I whispered, grabbing the flashlight and my old hunting rifle. Sarah nodded, her grip tight on my arm before I pulled away. As I made my way to the front door, the scratching grew louder, more insistent. The door creaked open slowly, revealing the shadowy figures lurking just beyond the porch light's reach. They were small, no more than 3 feet tall, with eyes that gleamed in the darkness. Their bodies were hunched, covered in what seemed to be a mix of fur and scales. They moved with unsettling speed and coordination, surrounding the house in a matter of seconds. I aimed the flashlight at one and it recoiled, hissing violently. "We need to make it until dawn. Maybe they'll leave when the sun comes up." The hours dragged by, each minute feeling like an eternity. The creatures scratched and clawed at the windows and doors, their whispers filling the air with an otherworldly hum. We took turns keeping watch, using every flashlight and lamp we had to keep them at a distance. Emma and Jack were terrified but surprisingly resilient, sticking close to each other and to us. As the first light of dawn began to break over the horizon, the creatures grew more frantic, their hissing louder and more desperate. And then, just as suddenly as they had appeared, they vanished, retreating into the shadows of the forest. It was another night visitor, but this one was holding something, a small glowing stone. It placed the stone on the ground and retreated, watching me with those same gleaming eyes. I picked up the stone, feeling its warmth seep into my skin. Back inside, Sarah and I examined the stone. It seemed to pulsate with energy, casting a soft light in the room. Suddenly the whispers grew louder, but this time, they were clear. The creatures were speaking, and we could understand them. The stone, return, peace. Realization dawned on us. The creatures were not here to harm us. They were searching for something that belonged to them. Somehow, the stone had ended up near our farmhouse, and they had been trying to retrieve it. That night, as we settled into bed, a strange calmness enveloped the farmhouse. The usual creaks and groans of the old house seemed to have vanished, replaced by an almost eerie silence. I lay awake listening for any sign of the creatures, but the night remained still. There, huddled in the underbrush, was a small night visitor, no bigger than Jack. It was alone, its eyes wide with fear and confusion. I knelt down, speaking softly, trying to reassure it. The creature seemed to recognize me, its trembling subsiding slightly. I reached out a hand, and to my surprise it took a hesitant step forward. Gently, I lifted it into my arms and carried it back to the house. Sarah met me at the door, her eyes widening in shock at the sight of the creature. "We can't leave it out there," I said. "We need to protect it until we can find a way to return it to its family." Over the next few days, we cared for the little creature, naming it Luna for the way its eyes reflected the moonlight. Luna quickly bonded with the children, playing with them and exploring the farmhouse. It was clear that Luna was intelligent and curious, and it seemed to understand that we meant no harm. One night, under the full moon, Luna began to behave differently. It seemed restless, its eyes darting towards the woods. We knew it was time. Gathering our courage, we followed Luna to the edge of the forest, where the familiar shapes of the night visitors emerged from the shadows. Luna ran to them and they surrounded it, their eyes glowing with a mixture of joy and relief. One of the creatures stepped forward, holding the glowing stone. It placed the stone at our feet and bowed its head, a gesture of thanks and respect. As the creatures melted back into the forest, taking Luna with them, we felt a deep sense of fulfillment. We had not only survived the terror of the night, but had also forged an unexpected bond with the night visitors. The stone remained with us, a reminder of the extraordinary events that had unfolded. And just when we thought our story had reached its conclusion, an unexpected twist emerged. One evening, while tending to the garden, I unearthed an old, weathered box buried deep in the soil. Inside, wrapped in ancient cloth, was another stone, similar to the one we had returned but different, glowing with a soft, golden light. The discovery left us with more questions than answers. What did this new stone signify? Why had it been hidden on our land? As we held the stone in our hands, we felt a new chapter of our journey beginning, a mystery that beckoned us to explore further. Our adventure with the night visitors was far from over, and we were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, bound by the knowledge that we were part of something much greater than ourselves.